Hello everyone, thanks for tuning back into the Let's Look Brad channel. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually going through my red boxes that I have here, and I have multiple of them stacked up, and I have two more upon these, but I wanted to bring you in to show you a little bit about what varieties, more or less error coins that you might be looking for, maybe some oddities that you might want, something more or less catches your eye that kind of makes you grab the coin and want to flip it up and hold on to it. I've got a wide spread of things. You see, these are the nickels that I set out some for. And actually what I needed to do, and the reason why I'm going through the box, is because a lot of the new varieties, the new updates on the list of everything for the coinage, you won't have much change for the older coins like the Barbers and the Flying Eagles and so forth, so on. But the more modern coins are definitely going to have something attached to them for new variety and so forth. I do have a lot of my error coins that are going to be stacked here. So like say, I'll show you here shortly. I'll spread them out a little more, but the no FG floating roof, there's an extra rim. That's actually a Susan B. Anthony wide rim. So let me go ahead and get these separated out a little more, and then I will bring you back in and walk you through what I have here to look at. I got a few of them situated here. Now, majority of these are going to be mostly modern, except for the two Buffalo nickels that are there, but I wanted to use them as examples also. So we'll get started on the pennies first. A lot of lamination errors you see. They're not common, but they're not too terribly uncommon. I found quite a few of them. You can see the lamination error going directly to his nose, right above his mouth there. And he actually has one that's down here by Liberty, going through his bottom side of Liberty and through the neckline of him. I don't think it has anything on the reverse. No, it doesn't. But a lamination error is a really good find if you can find them on any type of coin, especially modern or old. This being a wheat penny was pretty nice to actually find down there. And then let's move on to the clipped planchet. You don't see these too terribly much, especially in boxes, but as you see there on right beside "In God We Trust," basically "in" is completely clipped out. And it looked like on the right side of the coin by the staple over here, like it grabbed it, but it didn't completely cut through it. Well, it got a little bit of it, I guess. So right there on top by the A there, it grabbed a little bit of the planchet, but you can see down here on the 1, it completely ate through it. So definitely a variety, or definitely an error coin that you want to look for. I'm not for sure if I don't think it's a variety in the book. Definitely it doesn't call it out. Now this here is a grease strike through. Basically just too much on the coin. Whenever the machine comes down and hits it, it just doesn't give a good imprint. And it looks like this one was just almost melted, but it's got a lot on there going on. It's not on the reverse though, but it is on the obverse. So that's a good example. And this is just, these right here are just an oddity that I like. And I call it a wood grain, because as you see, it looks like it's got wood grain through there. Reverse and the obverse. And then we move on to the 1969D floating roof no FG. So this is going to take getting the scope here to look at this one. So we go to the roof here, and you see there's no pillar across there. Basically the pillar is going to be right here. It's going to go all the way down to the base of the building there. There's not one there either. If you go down to the bottom corner of the building here, there's supposed to be a no FG there. And I've turned this one many different ways and even tried scoping it, and it's definitely not there. So that's another variety you want to actually look for, is the floating roof no FG. They're not too terribly common for the floating roof on there, but you can find them probably in, 1 or 2 in every box that you get. Let's move on to the nickels. So this right here would be a single layer Basically, it just wasn't struck with the nickel and left the copper on there. And it's, like I mentioned, you can grab one of these, look at it like, man, and throw it in the bag. Me, if I look at them, I'm like, yep, definitely a keeper. Something I'm definitely a big collector in is just the oddities that come out of these boxes. Now, this one here is a 1938 Buffalo nickel. And this, you'll see the 1938 on the bottom by the neck there. This was a pretty nice find. Had a little bit of the horn there, but you can definitely see on the bottom of the coin here, it's going to be a D over D there. And the outside, you can see a little bit on the outside of the D here. There's a little bit of D slant, and then there's a little bit in the middle going on too. But it had a little damage right here on the bottom of the D, like it was smushed. But like I say, I had it verified by a couple of folks just to make sure that is the D over D, and it does have it as a variety. So it's definitely a good catch. But I wouldn't get rid of it anyways because it's a Buffalo out of a box. Move over to the 1929S. Now this 1929S, it will have a 2 feather. There's 2 feathers here. It would have a 3rd feather behind the neck there. It's possibly there, but I just don't see the cut as deep. And this, it'd be a 2 feather variety. I don't want to say there's a 2.5 feather, but I'm going to say this was only a 2 feather variety. It's a little risen behind there, but it's not enough detail to show that it's a 3rd feather. That's gonna be a 1929S. The horn's completely pretty much gone off of it. A little bit of detail, some meat on the bone still. All right, and I only have 1 dime. I've got a couple others I gotta get to the other box, but this one here I just basically pulled out because it had a little bit more rim on it, as you see up there by Liberty. They might add a couple more cents to the value for it, but in my opinion, just having that extra rim on there and finding it in the box was pretty cool. So we'll move over to the Susan B. Anthony. Now the Susan B. Anthony, I don't do a whole lot of dollar coins, and I did a few boxes actually to try to get one of these wide rims out of here. So what you're gonna look for is the 1979 that's here. That 9, actually the whole date itself is pretty much gonna almost be touching the rim. If I can hold still for a second. Pretty much gonna be touching the rim. And you'll see whenever you get another 1979, and it's gotta be a Philadelphia, so make sure over the top of her shoulder, there's a P right there. So you wanna make sure it's a 1979 Philly. I mean, I guess if you get any other coin in there close to the rim, then I guess it's an oddity or a good variety, but this one here, it's pretty nice find. So I've got, this would be an oddity. These are, yet again, another coin that I would hang on to. Looks like a basic Denver Mint coin, but when you turn it over to the back side of this, it's like no facing. It's hard to tell because that right there has been basically walked through in circulation since 2006, because I found it here recently. But there's no real deep grind marks on there. I'm just not sure if it's I don't think it's a grinder. Like I said, I've looked at it quite a few times before I even put it in the case here. So I want to say it is some kind of machine error that did that, and not just somebody who took a grinder to it. Now, 2008, and I mentioned in my last video, I think it was in 1994 that you would look up, that has these matte, I mean, just completely flat. There's no sheen to it with the gloss or anything like that. It feels rough. It's just a matte coin, I mean, completely flat out. So actually another oddity, and definitely something I would definitely keep. Then this one here was one of the first quarters I actually ever got out of a box. And I guess my heart was racing because I thought, you know, you hear about these quarters that are stamped on the dollar planchet, so forth, so on. This one here just had me going, which I want to say it's only a copper single layer. with the quarter on there. So as I say, it's a little odd, but I definitely like it. And then I've got to go, as I mentioned, I've got to go through the nickels here, and I've got to go through the quarters that I have stacked up. I got a lot of nicer quarters there that I want to get to. And I think I got some nickels there also, yeah, like this one here. Man, I wish it was a 70D, but it is a full stair. You definitely see all the steps on the bottom there. Anyhow, but let me go ahead and run through these here. These I'm going to put in a new album, actually, and I'm going to put my toners also in a new album. So these are all my toners here, and I want to be able to put those in. Those are going to be all my W quarters, so I've got a pretty good stack of W quarters, both of those. And then that actually is all of the die chips that are in the roof, in the lips, in the hats, and so forth, so on. So I don't think they're a variety of any kind. They are errors, but I'm gonna hold those out and actually put them back in the red box. But anyhow, let me go ahead and jump into these nickels here and into the quarters there and see if I have any additional varieties that may have popped up on the list, and I'll bring her back in. Okay, so I've searched the nickels and the quarter stack, and why not picking these three out just to show you real quick. I was actually quite surprised too, because I didn't fully finish looking through the box, but that's a 1916 wheat penny there. It's a pretty good condition too. It's not worth but about $8 or $10, probably $15 at max, the condition that it's in, but still nice to have that in the box. Anyways, all right, so I pulled two of the key date coins that I'd had just to show you that I did have a key date, and that's gonna be a 1950D. Not honestly sure when I got this one. It had been quite a while. There is a few steps on there, but it's definitely not a full stair. But it is in really nice condition when I got it out of the box. So we'll move on to the 1939S, and it's a key date also. And I want to say there is an S over S RPM for this one here, but I definitely didn't have it. I want to say there's also a reverse of a 1940 that could be a variety, and I don't think I have that variety for that 1940. Then need to discover this one. So this is the 1954S. And the S will have a D over S variety. It's got a little wood grain on it, doesn't it? All right. And D over S variety. So if I get it on the screen, I'm honestly not for sure. It's got a lot more extra metal behind there. And I want to say there's a little gap in between the S here. So it's probably in the center of the D, how they get smushed down some. So it's a wide back end, and then the front side of it, possibly, not possibly, but definitely a keeper. The reason why I've actually scratched it out S over D in the past, because I'm not positive with it. I honestly forgot it was even in the box. Like I said, I've moved through so many coins nowadays. I'm definitely going to take this one up to the coin shop up there and see if they can verify a little better for me. So then to the 1971 Philly. This one's really good condition. Definitely got some mint luster on there, possibly on the back side. It's not too much on the front, a little hazy on a few spots here. But the 1971 Philadelphia is going to have a DDR, and the DDR that it shows on Variety Vista is going to be the S and the T. So the S will have an additional tail, serif, however you want to call it, but it's probably gapped a little more. So there's going to be one that's sitting right beside it, ties in, and then the T is going to have an additional stem on the T, and then another extra serif coming off. So that's the only variety that they have on there, but that doesn't mean that this coin won't have a variety if it did have a doubling factor in it. So the E there is definitely doubled. D's got a little bit of something going on in the inside of it too. It's just a little worn in, so it ain't too terribly noticeable. But that's always the thing, to hold on to these coins whenever you have a little extra or something going on with these, for the doubling sake of the DDO or DDR. You definitely don't want to just take a coin, look at it and say, well, it doesn't have it. But you know, the Variety Vista might have, like I say, the S&T on there, and that is double, and that's the only Variety Vista variety for it. But like I said, you don't want to throw it away in case later on somebody comes out and then there's another variety for this coin. So make sure you definitely hang on to these coins. And like I said, this 1971 Philadelphia will possibly have that as the DDR on the back. And if you did have the 1971 P DDR, they're worth a killing. I mean, I would figure this would be close, probably high AU right there at MS60, and they're like $940 for MS60 state. So yet again, I'd definitely hang on to these. Well, as I mentioned, I've got a lot to look through still. I've got a lot more boxes over here to work into, but I'm definitely going to load these up in a separate album for the varieties and errors, and then have a new binder for all my toners, because I do like the toners. And I guess I haven't showed y'all much of these over here just yet. Got some 57 Flying Eagles, pretty decent condition. A lot of these coins I had prior when my mom had these coins and then gave them down to me, and I've been holding on to them for quite a while. So Barber half dollars, 1904S, 1899 Philly, 1904 Philly, and then 1909 Philly. Got Indian Head, Full Liberty, and 4 diamonds. Pretty tough to find all the diamonds in there. So what they're calling out for the 4 diamonds, I guess while I have y'all here, is going to be on the band there. So you see where the face is at. You walk back to the ear, you see all the Liberty on there. You come directly down off of the band, there's going to be 4 diamonds. There's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right below it. So that's pretty tough to get on these Indian head scents, because they're that between the Liberty, that, and the feathers that are up on top of the headdress there, pretty much going to rub off. So that's definitely a nicer coin. This here is going to be 1876 Indian head scent. Really good condition, except for the face is a little laid up with corrosion, but still always nice to have it. Anyways, this video is going to be long enough, but just wanted to pop y'all in and show y'all some varieties, definitely some oddities, and definitely some, you know, the DDO, DDR status that you might want to look for, and definitely hang on to them. Don't get rid of them. So anyhow, y'all like the video, y'all please give it a thumbs up, and y'all have a great day.